I was, and then M demanded my crutches to cut a line. Little long one here. I only remembered this when I was looking through a photo album and figured, why not tell somebody? To start things off, I should explain why I needed my crutches. I was born with a couple different medical conditions, one of which caused my bones to be weak and another causing me to lose sight in one eye. After lots of treatment and therapy, I was strong enough to walk on my own with crutches, but I still needed assistance with some things. I'm A-okay now with the exception of my vision. This happened literally the day after I was discharged. I was 8 at the time. My family decided to take me on a week-long trip to a place about 3 hours from our home because it was very beautiful and not very crowded, so it was the perfect place to relax and get used to being outside. My mom had to leave for an emergency at her job the morning of our trip and took the car. This left me and my dad figuring that the most efficient way to get there would be by bus. We got to the bus terminal really early and hung around for a bit. About an hour before our bus was to board, my dad asked if I needed to go to the restroom. Being a little kid, I said no, but we went anyway. Going to the restroom happened to be one of the tasks I needed help for, so my dad took me to the men's room. Upon seeing my crutches, nobody had any objections and understood what was going on. We were just about to enter the doorway when I was suddenly shoved on my blind side and fell into my dad. My dad helped me stand up and glared at who shoved me. It was a girl a bit taller than me standing in front of a lady who was staring me and my dad down. She had a scowl on her face I will never forget. The following conversation went something like this. Excuse me, why are you bringing a girl into the men's room? She should be in the women's room. Dad, well, she needs help as she is too weak to do some tasks on her own. If she can't do something so simple, then send her to the hospital for them to take care of her. I was shocked and beginning to get angry at that comment. Dad, instead of worrying about how I take care of my daughter, why don't you take care of your kid and teach her some basic manners and not to shove people? Your kid could have easily dodged it, or is she just that weak that a tap sends her falling? Dad, she is unable to see well and clearly is very weak, so. That's not my fault, she is a blind and handicapped burden to society. If you're bringing a girl to the men's room, then my daughter and I will be going in there too. Here, the man behind and in front of us step in. Man 1, he needs to be with his kid to ensure her safety. You have no right to be here or to say anything about him and his kid. Man 2, you and your kid need to leave these two alone and go to where you belong. If it's the restroom you need, you both are old enough to understand that you don't belong in this one. After leaving in a huff with her kid, my dad, and I thought it was over. He thanked the two men for stepping in and they said they couldn't stand by and just watch what was going on. Fast forward a couple days and we are enjoying ourselves on our trip. This location also has a small carousel that I was waiting in line for. The operator saw me at the back and kindly allowed me to cut the pretty short line. Once off the ride, guess who comes jogging up to me and my dad? Hi, I know we kind of got off to a rough start, but I hope it's all good now. My dad chose to ignore her. Hey, come on, please hear me out. I saw your daughter got to cut the line and get on the carousel because of her crutches. Can you let my little girl borrow your crutches so she can cut the line too? I was shocked and replied, I need these to stand. I can't give them to you. Didn't your parents ever teach you to not be selfish and to share? We will give them back, I promise. She tried to snatch them from under me before my dad stepped in front of me to block her. Dad, after what you did to us last time, what gives you the right to even come near us again, let alone ask for the very thing you ridiculed my daughter for? Please. As a fellow parent, you should know how hard it is to give kids a happy life. Please lend a. Dad, yes, I know that better than you and you surely aren't applying that idea to my kid. Back off now. She tried to say something else, but the ride operator saw what was going on and called security. They escorted her and her child away and that's the last I've seen of them. Edit, it's only been a few days since I posted this, but that's a lot of people. For those asking, yes, I'm fine now and appear normal. I also want to say thank you on behalf of my dad. After showing him all the wonderful things people said, he was both laughing hysterically and on the verge of tears. I appreciate it. Your dad's patience is amazing. Considering how many people would have slapped her into next week for doing what she did, he could have had charges pressed on him, and I think he realized that. Even though the EK pushed up hard, a slap is probably treated worse in a courtroom. I hope you had a good trip and well done for getting through your suffering. I had to use crutches when I broke the 5th metatarsal in my left foot at 10. My stepdad and mother told my sister and brother, ages 9 and 8 respectively, that they needed to help me out with carrying things and to leave the crutches alone. Siblings argued over whose turn it wasn't to help me, so I tried to carry my own dishes and spilled everything and broke a shatter-resistant plate. Got in trouble for that and siblings didn't. Brother stole my crutches repeatedly and stepdad didn't care until I chased my brother to get them back. I got in trouble for walking on my cast and for tripping my brother with my crutches. 20 plus years later, and I have to mind my left foot as my ankle is weak and the spot where I broke the bone is sensitive to touch and pressure changes. I have a sneaking suspicion that it didn't heal properly due to having to get my crutches back on my own and picking stuff up with my toes since my siblings argued about who was supposed to be helping. Oh no. That's terrible. I fractured my 2nd metatarsal a while ago and it healed improperly as well. I just live with the full pain, but that sounds awful. I hope you are doing well and it doesn't affect you too much. Wishing you the best, friend. It's tender and I can't stand that spot on my foot being touched. It also hurts when it gets cold, so we use whether or not I'm willing to stick my left foot in the pool as a means to say that the pool's ready to swim in temperature-wise. Apart from that, a good wrap helps alleviate some, if not most of the pain. That's good to hear that there's something you can do to relieve the pain. Once again, I hope you're doing well and you can get better. Keep strong, my friend. I honestly would have killed the bitch if she tried to use my kid's disabilities to make her kid happy. Fellow parent? Oh please, if het daughter has a disability then I would consider her as a fellow, since how hard it is to take care of one kid with disabilities, because I'm one of those kids and I see the tired and kinda depressed sick face on my mother every day. But the bitch doesn't have a disabled child and I would have just find a Ferris wheel to trap the woman on.